imaging detection and radar. It basically emits a pulse of 240 beams per second, or 240,000 beams per second into the ground, and it measures the length of time that takes to return from the ground. So the first returns are the ones that will bounce off the nearest thing. Second returns will penetrate a bit further, and the final returns are the ones that we'd be interested in, because they would obviously represent the ground, where the return has actually penetrated through the foliage into the ground, whereas the first and second ones don't. So in the post-processing, we're able to separate out those returns, so we can just select our last returns or our ground points, if you like. And then we use the American classification system to divide up our points. Now for us it's very simple. All we're interested in is classifying ground points. We're not interested in what's telegraph poles, for example, or what's trees. We can just strip all that out and forget it. So what we're just going to be doing is we're just going to be filtering out everything that isn't ground, and then constructing a digital frame model from what's left, basically. So it depends on the concentration or the depth of the foliage, how many ground points we get. For example, you wouldn't penetrate through I scanned the building there behind us. You wouldn't penetrate through that ivy even with LiDAR. So we would get a model of the building, but it would be very hard to actually get any points to penetrate through that ivy. Similarly, at this time of the year, top of the mountain, it may be difficult for us to get a lot of ground points in the heavily wooded parts. Now the far side, as you know, is deforested. We might get a lot more over there. The drone we're using is a DJI 300 Matrice RTK enterprise drone. These are sort of the industry standard now for commercial or enterprise drone work. So you see it being used, for example, on large wind farms, offshore oil exploration, that kind of commercial use. But they're also designed very much for security and police work. So it has functions like a one-tap function where it will follow people. And not necessarily the drone. You can actually get the camera, hold the drone off a mile and film it as a 200 zoom camera, or you can get it to follow cars, and you can swap control over on screens then to somebody else, so somebody else a mile down the road can take over, so the drone can be surveilling in a city landscape, for example. Obviously we don't use that. It also has a laser pinger on most of the cameras on it, which means you can ping a point up to 1500 meters away, and the coordinates to that point on the ground will appear on the screen here, and the distance as well. It also does windage, like what side the wind is coming from and the speed that the wind is coming from. Now that has military applications as well, for things like sniping or for identifying targets or targeting things. It's not a military drone as such, so that also has obviously commercial applications, like if you want to know the exact position of a wind turbine, for example, you can just ping it a mile away if you can't get it without a capsule or whatever. There's a camera in the actual head of the drone that's separate from the mounted camera. That's our LiDAR module there. Back into where I've programmed our missions. These are our two missions. This is one. So 0.8 of a square kilometre. There's the quarry. You can see it there.
Yeah.
We're on the side of the hill.
Yeah.
We're on the north side of the hill. And those lines there, do you see the red?
Yep.
That's up at 240 metres. And the drone will actually go up and down and follow the train along those lines.